May I wish you all, ladies and gentlemen, a very happy and prosperous New Year 2023. Today is December the 31st, New Year's Eve 2022. I come to you with a very special message that I would like to drive down the psyche of every Ambazonian listening to the sound of my voice. I am Chris Anu, your comrade in arms for a free and independent Southern Cameroon, Ambazonia, fellow Ambazonians. It has become the habit since 2016, as we approach every new year, that nothing resonates in our minds more than the feeling of an additional year into the war La République du Cameroon declared upon us. As we enter this year 2023 in a few hours ahead, we are sadly reminded that by October 2023, we would have added one more year, the seventh year, into the war. This is to say, sadly enough, that in 2023, our lives will still be choked with nothing else but the chagrin of war we never provoked nor declared, and the scars of death, pain, and suffering on our people. That is what 2022 was all about. And given no hope that the Republic of Cameroon takes negotiations or dialogue seriously in this new year, as it was in 2022, so will it be in 2023. For the past 6 years of this conflict, there has been no single moment, that the Republic of Cameroon has taken dialogue seriously. For 6 years and counting, every time they talked or called for dialogue, it was all window dressing. Their so-called Grand National Dialogue is a good example. Then there was the Swiss initiative or the Swiss process, which they waited for 3 good years to walk away from. Now they are in Canada, and still nothing to write home about. This is what I know. There are 2 things Cameroon hopes to do to get this war to end on their own terms. Number 1, Cameroon hopes to dictate to us what they want. We see this in efforts to force their so-called special status on us, as if they have any right to decide on our behalf what we want. They still live under the illusion of their one Cameroon. They continue to push special status, hoping that we take it, lay down our arms, and walk away with our tails in between our legs. Number 2, should we reject special status which we have already? Cameroon hopes to use force, brute force. They use the barrel of the gun, kill as many of our people as they can, until those who are left capitulate and lay down their arms. These are the 2 maneuvers Cameroon is bent on employing to end the war in their own terms. This is to say that Cameroon isn't preparing for any dialogue. They don't want it. All you see in Canada is a smoke screen. Nobody should be cajoled to believing even for a second that La République du Cameroon is tired of war, as they want us all to believe, or that they are about to negotiate. Negotiations do not feature in their vocabulary yet. Talk less about their agenda. The pogroms, the genocide, and the razing of towns and villages, schools, and hospitals that their occupying soldiers carried out in 2022 against our people are certainly bound to continue in 2023. We experience a foretaste of it on Christmas Day, isn't it? What type of a government sends soldiers to burn down 54 homes, ladies and gentlemen, on a Christmas Day in that matter, when they're supposed to be celebrating? It happened in Oku, Bowie County. You can see the images for yourself. They are out there. Thanks to the soldiers of La République du Cameroon. A government that invades, a government that kills people, a government that burns homes on such a revered day as Christmas isn't the type of government anyone should believe wants peace. So, therefore, ladies and gentlemen, as we enter this new year and march towards the 7th year of the war, we must not forget, and we should never forget, that we fight for a just cause. Our cause is just and right because we didn't attack them, they attacked us. We didn't declare war on them, they declared war on us. We didn't attempt to annex them or colonize their country. They annexed us and colonized us. We have not tried marginalizing them. No, but they marginalized us. We didn't steal or rape their resources. They stole and raped ours, including our heritage. This war is not about overthrowing their government. We have no interest in overthrowing their government for a second because it is not, ladies and gentlemen, it is not our government. It is not even our country either. Our mission is one. It is the restoration of our statehood. And by this, I mean the complete decolonization of the former British Southern Cameroons, what we call Ambazonians today. As we sail along the path of this war this year with this on our minds, that our cause is just. Though we are pushed hard against the war, we cannot give up. Again, we cannot give up. Giving up will never give us a free and independent country of our own. Sir Winston Churchill, one of the greatest statesmen who ever lived, said, and I quote, "Never give up on something that you can't go a day without thinking about." End of quote. If we do not borrow from his inspiration, ladies and gentlemen, if we give up, if we surrender to La République du Cameroon, will there ever be any other opportunities such as this one we have today? Would we ever come this close to having back our country? Above all, will there be a day you stop thinking about how far we got yet gave up? Will the next generation ever forgive us? Will our consciences ever stop pricking and condemning us? And what shall we say when we meet with our fallen heroes who have paid with their lives for the cause? What shall I in particular tell Field Marshal the King? What shall we tell General Chacha, Amigo, Bia, Ivo, and others? That we gave up? That we surrendered after their assassinations? That's exactly what Cameroon wants us to do. It is in their agenda, but giving up cannot be in our own agenda. It will not happen, not when there are still thousands of us, if not millions of us, ready to stand till victory comes. Fellow Ambazonians, unlike any other year since the beginning of this war, the year 2022 was such a challenge for all of us. We lost some of our bravest fighters, including the Field Marshal of Ambazonia, General Isubu, General Commando, and many others. Some sustained severe injuries and had to take a leave for treatment. We witnessed a fragmented and polarized diaspora, thanks mostly to greed, power mongering, and grandstanding. The interim government that has led the way in the prosecution of the struggle suffered the most. It has taken a lot of time for us to begin picking up the pieces back. And we will continue in this new year to do so. The role that the interim government plays in this struggle cannot be overstated. In spite of all its flaws, you still will agree with me that the struggle would have been long lost had it not been for the stewardship of this interim government. The interim government continues to paddle the canoe to the right destination. It remains the stem on which hangs the other branches. It is the hope of Ambazonia, and for that reason, we hope to build a stronger, sustainable, and better functioning interim government in 2023. We want a better interim government where leaders know they are stewards, they lead, and do not rule. An interim government in which leaders come and go, respecting the institutions that surround it and leaving just when they are asked to leave, be it through impeachment or through elections. We want an interim government in which accountability is a watchword. When people trust us with leadership and with their money, we must humble ourselves and be accountable to them when they call for audits. While we fight to rebuild the functionality and integrity of the interim government, we must never allow any deviating leaders and factions to emerge again. With this backdrop, I would like to announce today the holding in spring this year, 2023, in Washington, D.C., a very important gathering of all Ambazonians. The conference should bring all Ambazonians from across the globe together to chart the way forward and to build strength and unity. I call it the All Amba Summit, the All Amba Summit, AAS. It will culminate in a mass rally in Washington, D.C. And let me assure Ground Zero that the diaspora isn't dead. You saw the showing in the last protest rally in Washington, D.C. In spite of the bad weather, campaigns and smears from some quarters for people not to show up, hundreds of comrades flew in from all over the USA with a message to terrorist Paul Biya and his cronies that the Ambazonia diaspora is still alive and strong. We are expecting even thousands to gather in D.C. in the months ahead to send even a stronger message to the rest of the world this time, that though they choose Ukraine and ignore us, we will not give up. We will not give up. We will not surrender. Similar events are being planned for Europe and different parts of the world for the summer. And I am asking for your full engagement and participation. Fellow Ambazonians, 2022 may have been a very rough one for us. But we still have some consoling news. And the consoling news is this: we are still indeed winning the war. I know it for a fact. You may be saying, how are we winning the war when things seem to be so quiet on the ground? Yes, that may be true. Things may be quiet to our disliking. But Don't forget the 2 cubes of sugar remain standing like a rock. The Republic du Cameroon, in spite of the level of genocide and intimidation, has remained incapable of getting the 2 cubes of sugar to dissolve. Second, they referred to us as terrorists and vowed that they will never sit at the same table to discuss with terrorists. But guess where they have been in the last month and what they were doing? They were in Canada and actually seated face to face with terrorists, as they would like to call us. There may be some signs of fatigue on our side, but we have not budged. We have not shifted the goalpost, and we have not compromised our mission. And if we remain this steadfast and calculating, we will win. Again, we will win. We must win because there is no other option left for us. We will win through thoughtful planning, strategic consultations, and surgical operations that bring Cameroon to her knees both economically and politically. We will fortify our defenses within our territory and empower the restoration fighters with the resources they need while taking the pain to La République du Cameroon. When there is war, both sides should feel the pain of it. Our people cannot continue to bear the brunt alone. La République du Cameroon citizens must begin also to feel the pain, the same level of pain that our people have felt for the past 6 years and counting. When they kill our people and expect us to have sleepless nights, let me assure them today that we too have figured out a way of giving them sleepless nights. For as long as the southern Cameroon remains under the occupation of La République du Cameroon, there will be no rest in that damn country. But this call for all of us, ladies and gentlemen, to commit ourselves and to engage in the struggle. It means that we have to sacrifice more than ever before to see these things happening. The idea that nothing is happening, that ground zero fire isn't happening, and that when it begins to happen, you will start contributions is an immature argument. It is an evasive way to avoid contributing to this struggle. I hope you don't expect the restoration fighters will put up firepower with their bare hands. They need resources more than ever before. Firepower will not happen with mere vexatious spirit and capitulating slangs, such as, I'm not contributing until I see firepower. Who is supposed to pay for it? Isn't it you and I? Ladies and gentlemen, firepower is never invoked into existence. It is not free either. It is paid for. And every Ambazonian who truly wants to see us win this war will not continue to make such vexatious statements. Support the struggle. Contribute your monthly quota and hold the leaders accountable for how they employ the resources you have entrusted to them. That is the right thing to do. The habit of constantly calling for a riot act over the absence of firepower when you have not as much as paid a dime through the year is the kind of pacification that only kills the cause. In Boston, they said no tax without representation. Don't ask for firepower if you have not as much as contributed to it. And if for any reason you would rather not want your funds into the central government, locate your local government, locate your county, and support the ARF directly. There is no problem in doing so. None of us shall have any excuse for not supporting this struggle. Our brothers and sisters who are in the bushes, defending all of us, have not asked to be paid. Yet, Some of us living in the diaspora in our paneled houses don't want to support them. Even if they are asking to be paid, is it too much for the sacrifice they are paying? How can you live with a free conscience here in the diaspora, seeing such a great level of sacrifice these fighters pay to free homeland? Ladies and gentlemen, the idea that we must see firepower before we can begin to contribute is a defeatist attitude. It is a loser's mentality, and it is manipulative too, to say the least. They say it to attract company. May we develop a new mentality in the year 2023 and renew our commitment to supporting our heroes on the ground. I am not ignorant of what has happened in the past relating to the mismanagement of our contributions. We had leaders in the past who all they did was squander and misappropriate what you put in their hands for the prosecution of this struggle. We had leaders who were more interested in immediate gain, enriching themselves, than the success of the struggle. And because they knew that they were squandering your money, they wouldn't accept or show up for any audit. The good thing is that using our laws, we booted them out. I am different from them. I have been to every audit that was initiated, and I equally blew the whistle over the embezzlement that was eating deep into the fabric of these so-called leaders. And many of them will not hesitate to throw the kitchen sink at me because I have been the lightning rod. That is the reason I am urging all of you today to give this new leadership the chance to escalate firepower on the ground. Do not lump all of us together. Test my leadership and support the mission I am set out to lead until you see reason not to do so. Let's put presumptuousness aside and choose pragmatism. This government is very eager to deliver a devastating blow to La République du Cameroon, one that will leave them regretting this war forever. But I need all of you to renew your financial commitment and engagement. That is how we will win. That is how we will advance to the chagrin of Cameroon. In this light, I am glad to announce to you today that the interim government now has a new CID platform where every Amba or every supporter and sympathizer can register to support the struggle on a monthly basis. With as little as $10 a month, again, as little as $10 a month, you can make such a great impact. The website is www.ambadeals.com. Again, the website where you can register for your monthly contribution is www.ambadeals.com. Our target for the year is to register at least 5,000 subscribers. Please go there and subscribe. Besides the Amber Deals, we are dedicating this month of January for special fundraising. We will be coming to you in your counties, your LGAs, and your countries and regions to ask for your full participation. I am asking that all county and LGA, local government area chairs, begin arranging for this event. No amount of social media talking will give us victory. Only when we continue to generously fund it can we win. I urge you once more to have faith in this new leadership. It is not business as usual, and it will never be. Fellow Ambazonians, a few months ago, after the Republic of Cameroon pulled out from the Swiss peace process, we received an invitation from Canadian authorities to participate in meetings initiated by the Cameroon government, precisely by their Prime Minister Dion Ngute. We were made to understand that the agenda of the meeting will focus on the form of state as in one Cameroon, one Cameroon. We were told Cameroon would want to discuss decentralization of more powers to the regions. The Quebec Canadian federal system was particularly made reference to. We were unequivocally told independence cannot be on the agenda. The root causes of the war will not also be on the agenda. After consulted deliberations and consultations with members of the cabinet, members of the Restoration Council of Ambazonia, other stakeholders outside the interim government, and some diplomatic sympathizers, we resolve here at the interim government not to participate in the Canadian meetings. Given what we now know, we continue to stand by that decision. It was the right thing to do, especially taking into consideration the checkered history of Cameroon's promises to Ambazonia. But we couldn't just stay away without making our opinion and suggestions as per the way forward. We suggested to the Canadians that it was premature for Cameroon to want to placate us with the Quebec example, whereas the Southern Cameroon hasn't gotten the opportunity that Quebec had in referenda. We have also suggested that any gathering between the two parties, even if it's just pre-talks or whatever they call the name is given, it should have clearly stated and communicated agenda that includes the root cause of the conflict. We cannot address the conflict without going back to its root causes. It will end up just another window dressing exercise if we do so. We have concluded, therefore, that the Canadian meetings are just another version, or call it an extension, of their grand sham national dialogue. Even if Paul Biya should release every Ambazonian detainee or prisoner in their gulags in Bamenda, in Boya, in Douala, Bafoussam, Yaoundé, and all over the place, including the Naira 10, ladies and gentlemen, that will not move a pin in our position to pursue our free and independent Ambazonia. We will not sign on to any ceasefire or cessation of hostilities either, as we have heard. The day that Cameroon agrees to withdraw her soldiers from our territory is the only time we begin to consider a cessation of hostilities. We did not declare war. They did. And it is therefore incumbent upon them to call the first shot by agreeing to withdraw their soldiers before any ceasefire or cessation of hostilities can be reached. The situation where our restoration fighters lay down their arms while Cameroon soldiers move freely on our streets, tracking down and targeting the restoration fighters, is not acceptable. The restoration fighters will remain armed to the teeth and on the offensive too. Let me say one more thing about Canada. I have listened to our other comrades who sneaked there and remained faceless throughout the process. They say it was a good meeting. But we hear say the process was wrong. They put themselves in the gullible position, and Cameroon rarely took advantage of it. Ambazonia should never go into anything that has to do with negotiations or dialogue as groups or factions. You go there as groups or factions, Cameroon will buy orders and then call for a vote each time a critical resolution is to be decided. And guess how those who are paid are going to vote? They will vote to give Cameroon the result it wants. You, with good intentions, would have been voted out, and you would forever still remain an accomplice. Ambazonians must agree now to go into any peace process as a team and not as factions as in the Canadian example. And that team cannot be a team that is put together through Cameroon's backdoor workings through the so-called coalition for dialogue and negotiation. It must be a pre-assembled team made up of representatives of all the major groups and with a prepared unique approach in hand. We must also right now assemble our team of experts, a mediator or mediators. As of now, we do not have anything going on in Canada between what I consider to be lay people and experts from Canada in Cameroon can only produce a second phone band for us. I enjoin all of you, therefore, all the leaders and stakeholders too, please, let us gather in Washington, D.C. in the spring and put our house in order. We can come up with a plan, such as the one I have described in the preceding paragraphs, if we put bickering and grandstanding aside and work to free our people. We can do it. And if we do not do it, never should you blame Foncha and his generation that brought this upon us again. Let us agree to right the wrongs now. That is what collaboration and unity is all about. I am ready to work with all stakeholders to see this happen. Let's do it together. And to our heroes, the restoration fighters. A few months ago, something was being touted as Ground Zero Command. Ground Zero Command was a good idea that was being initiated at the wrong time. Ground Zero Command, it seems, was essentially hatched to hold firepower, stop the flow of funding to the fighters, and then ultimately destabilize them. We have seen it in the last few months. Those who promoted the idea have been unable to raise even a dime to support the fighters. Instead, they promote division and acrimony among the fighters. This interim government will continue to support the county by county, LGA by LGA model and commands that have worked just so well in the past. It breeds responsibility and accountability on the part of the fighters. It prevents the situation where one commander in the diaspora or on ground zero betrays the entire formation of our fighting force in the entire territory. Until we begin to capture and hold territories, the idea of Ground Zero Command will remain far-fetched for the moment. I am appealing to all commanders, both in the diaspora and on the home front, to reorganize and rebuild the county's chain of command. This interim government will be ready to come work with you and support you. 2023 must be a year of exploits, a year of renewed vigor, a year we must begin to capture and hold some of our territories. We will not allow La République du Cameroon run with the propaganda of victory. Let us deny them that message. Each time they sing victory, we will show up to the tax and deny them the message. Fellow Ambazonians, 2 out of 3 of our comrades who were arrested by the U.S. Justice Department remain under custody waiting for their day in court. I ask that we all continue to support them and their families. We cannot abandon them at this time, irrespective of which camp they belong to. They are all Ambazonians and they are all fighters. We are leading an initiative here at the interim government to create a legal fund that should take care of their defense. Their families do not have to shoulder all of this responsibility. In the days ahead, we shall be launching the legal fund, and I pray that you are ready to support it. This is another front we must deny La République du Cameroon victory. If they should succeed, if La République du Cameroon should succeed to find these ones guilty, You could be the very next one they come after. Let's stand with them and support them with the best legal representation that we can afford. Fellow Ambazonians, with our faith and trust in God, His ability to save and to deliver, we will make 2023 what we want it to be. The choice is ours to make. It is very possible indeed that by this same time next year we could be celebrating a free and independent Southern Cameroon's Ambazonia. It is very possible. I enjoin us all to pray more and more that God will open us meaningful diplomatic corridors this year, that God should grant us favor in the eyes of the people whose doors we knock, that He should cause our faces to shine as we seek for support from across the globe, that our restoration forces will be covered in the blood of Jesus as they pursue the enemy from the territory, that God will send people our way who will do some of the heavy liftings for us. And above all, that God will grant us unity, collaboration, and wisdom in every step of the way through the new year. Pray that the Cameroon army continues to fall to meet their Waterloo in the hands of the restoration fighters of Ambazonia. May strategy and wisdom delude them. May all their plans fail. May their weapons fail them too. Stay blessed. Stay strong. Remain upbeat. And never you think of giving up. If God is for us, if our cause is just, the combined army of the world cannot defeat us. Long live the Federal Republic. Short live the war. Please get this message into the hands of every Ambazonian out there. God bless you all. Happy New Year and a prosperous one too.